Hello, everyone. Life is not a simple journey. Sometimes we feel like we are riding on a calm wave, but sometimes we are caught in a whirlwind of upheaval. There are days when we feel like we are flying up to the clouds, but there are also times when we fall into a deep abyss with no way out. Each of us wishes for a healthy, peaceful, and fulfilling life. But life is not just about wishes. Just like planting trees to have sweet fruit, you need good seeds, fertile soil, and proper care. The same goes for people. If they want to live happily, they must first learn to look at life with the right mindset. So today I invite you to spend a few minutes with me to contemplate 15 things that I appreciate in life, philosophies that can be likened to the most quintessential brocade bag of life. Think carefully. Keep them, you will feel your heart lighten, and life becomes much more worth living. 1. Before we know it, we have grown old. Life passes faster than we think. We are busy, absorbed in living each day without realizing that time has quietly swept away our youth. Then one morning, looking in the mirror, seeing that our face is no longer young, our hair is starting to turn gray, we suddenly realize we have come a long way. Youth was once innocent and impulsive. Now we are stronger, more mature, but also burdened by unspeakable feelings. Maturity is when we understand that no one really lives easily. Everyone has their own hardships and is also struggling to bear a part of life. The older we get, the less we talk about the joys and sorrows in our hearts, not because no one asks, but because we know that most people will not really understand. We gradually learn to be silent, to heal our own wounds, to cope with difficulties. We learn to be more tolerant, no longer easily angry or blaming. Because life is not perfect. We cannot go all over the world with these two legs, but we can choose a path that is suitable for us to continue on. If you are old, don't be sad. Be grateful that you are still alive, that you are loved. Be kind to yourself. Cherish every moment you have left. 2. Good attitude, the most powerful medicine. In this life, not many people have everything as they wish. There are days when the clouds are covered, but there are also days when the sky is bright and clear. However, it is not the circumstances, but the attitude that determines whether we live happily or sadly. As the great writer Leonid Leonov once said, a good attitude is stronger than 100 kinds of wisdom. People with a good attitude will know how to smile even when facing storms. They do not collapse in the face of adversity because they know how to calmly face it and move forward optimistically. Life is a silent battle of the heart. Whoever can keep their heart at peace will not be easily defeated, no matter what the external circumstances are. On the contrary, if we let our emotions dominate, if we are always immersed in sadness and in lamentation, we will be drained of energy and unable to escape, just like sunflowers always facing the light. Be positive, be optimistic, and everything will be fine. Because life is a mirror, we smile, it smiles back. 3. Life is like eating pears. Don't save the worst for yourself. There is a story like this. A man bought a box of pears. Because he was afraid that the hot weather would spoil the pears, he chose to eat the worst ones first every day. As a result, the whole box of pears ended up with only bruised and rotten ones. He thought about the lesson and immediately carved the parallel sentences on a horizontal lacquered board. Left side, save the good pears, eat the rotten pears. Right side, good pears are rotten, eat the rotten pears. In the middle, rotate the rotten pears. The story sounds funny, but it is so true to life. Many people keep saving the good things for later. As a result, later never comes and the present is full of bitterness, frustration, and sadness. Don't live like that. Know how to choose the best pears for yourself. Live fully in the present. Enjoy the good things you have. Life is to be happy, not to endure. 4. Just be half satisfied. That's enough. There is a saying, many things in life are not as desired. All things are only half satisfied. That is, there are many things in life that are not as desired. Just be half satisfied, that's enough. It sounds simple, but it is a very wise state of life. Being half satisfied does not mean resignation or negativity, but knowing enough living leisurely. Ancient books say Thien Dao Kim in heaven hates people who are too greedy, too full. Life is a balance between gain and loss. Half is fighting, half is depending on fate, half is being proactive, half is letting go, half is our decision, half is God's decision. Trying to hold on to everything, the result is often losing everything. Knowing how to let go, knowing how to accept, knowing how to buy at unfinished things, that is a wise person. 5. How is your mindset? That is, how is your life? The ancients said, the seen does not distinguish between beauty and ugliness. Beauty and ugliness depend on the person's mind. If a person can adjust his mindset, no matter what circumstances he lives in, he will feel light and peaceful. Happiness does not lie in how much money you have, how much power, but when you sleep well every night, smile every morning. Happiness is seeing miracles in the little things of everyday life. As long as you are willing to live simply, know how to let go of anger, know how to be grateful for every breath, then you will find yourself happier than ever. 6. Home, a place to love, not to argue. A home does not need to be big, does not need to be luxurious. It just needs to be warm. A home does not need to always say right or wrong. It just needs someone who understands and tolerates. A real home is a place where we can return, whether successful or unsuccessful, happy or sad. A place that nurtures love, not coldness. A place of peace, not a battlefield of arguments. Keep your home warm with the simplest things: care, understanding, tolerance, and patience. 7. Treat your spouse well. A couple lives together for a lifetime from the beginning, with nothing to the end, with gray hair. It is not always peaceful, but if you know how to cherish each other, overcome each incident, then that is the most precious feeling. When you are young, you love her, so she stays. You are sincere with him, so he is loyal. Don't wait until your hair turns gray to understand that the person who is by your side every day is the most precious gift. If there is someone who goes through life with you, always cherish them. 8. How we deal with loss determines the quality of life. Life is a continuous journey of gain and loss. Everyone will lose something: a loved one, a relationship, an opportunity, or even their own youth. But what makes the difference between a strong person and a broken person is how they deal with that loss. A wise person does not try to hold on to what is past, but learns to let go and be grateful for what they had. Because loss is how life teaches us to grow. Because loss sometimes opens a new door. Instead of suffering because of what is gone, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? That is the way to live wisely. 9. Live simply, not because of lack, but because of understanding. Living simply is not giving up all material things, but knowing how to choose what is enough for you. Having a lot is not always good. A lot of things, a lot of debt, a lot of work, a lot of worries, a lot of ambition, a lot of fatigue. The more mature people are, the less they talk and compete. They choose for themselves a few close friends instead of a noisy crowd. A small, cozy house is better than a cold villa. A simple meal is more precious than a lavish party that no one is sincere about. Simplicity does not mean poverty, but living neatly both outside and inside the mind. 10. Not saying everything in your heart, not because you hide it, but because you understand. The more experienced people are, the less they talk. Not because they have nothing to share, but because they understand that not everyone deserves to hear their whole heart. You tell your troubles, some people are just curious after listening. You show kindness, some people think you are calculating. You share your dreams, some people will laugh at you. So the person who has been hurt will learn one thing. Keeping a part of silence is keeping peace for yourself. Not everything needs to be said clearly. Not everyone needs to understand. Just living without shame is enough. 11. Staying healthy is a responsibility, not just a choice. When we are young, we think our body is invincible. Staying up late, working too hard, eating irregularly, nothing to worry about. But age will teach you one thing. Without health, all plans are just illusions. People spend their youth making money, then use money to buy health. Some people regret their whole life just because of a sudden illness. So, if possible, sleep early, eat healthy exercise, have regular health checkups. Don't wait until you're in the hospital to realize health is not everything, but without health, everything is meaningless. 12. Money should be considered a tool, not a measure of value. Money is very important, but it is not everything. There are people who are rich in money, but poor in emotions, poor in morality. There are also people who live simply, but are always happy, kind, satisfied with life. Earn money by your own labor. Use money to serve life, not to be a slave to it. Don't judge a person by the assets they have, but look at how they live, how they treat others, how they overcome adversity. True wealth is when you know enough, how much is enough, and do not lose your qualities because of money. 13. Gratitude is a kind of blessing that everyone needs. A grateful person, no matter what circumstances they live in, always feels full. An ungrateful person, even if he has the whole world, still feels lacking. Be grateful to your parents for giving birth and raising you. Be grateful to those who have helped you, even if it is just a word of encouragement. Be grateful for the difficulties because they help you become stronger. You cannot blame life and hope for a good life at the same time. Your heart is like your life. Being grateful is the way to open the door for peace and luck to enter. 14. Kind people often suffer but never lose. You may have been deceived, taken advantage of, or suffered because you lived too honestly, too well. And you ask yourself, is being kind worth it? The answer is worth it. Because being kind is not about being rewarded by someone, it's about keeping your dignity and heart intact. Being kind is not about being weak. It's about having the courage to not be corrupted in a world full of calculations. You may go slower, but you will go further and more gently. 15. Life doesn't need to be perfect. Just be true to yourself. No one is perfect, and no one needs to be. You don't need to try to be the ideal version in the eyes of others. You just need to be honest with yourself. Do what's right with your morals and your heart. That's enough. Life is too short. Don't live to please everyone. Live so that in the end, when you look back, you can smile and say, I lived a kind life. It was not in vain. The 15 philosophies above may not change the world you live in, but if you really think about it and live by it, you yourself will change. And when you change the world around, you will also change. Because the way is in the heart. The path is under your feet. Life is in the way we live each day. Thank you, dear friends, for listening until the end. If you find this philosophy useful, please share it to spread the good news. I wish you, dear friends, peace of mind, bright mind, and a leisurely life in this troubled world. See you again in the old words and old meanings to find together the ancient wisdom in modern life.